And then I was there for 10 years, and it gave me incredible experience. I worked all over Africa for the zoo. I worked with African mammals specifically, and I was very, very passionate. I did a bit of children's TV in Australia. Zookeeper Hayden. He would come in and they'd ask me questions about zebras and things like that. It was fantastic because you were inspiring very, very young kids about the environment. And then one day I woke up and all I wanted to do after being to Africa for many times was wake up in Africa. And I was waking up in Sydney, Australia. Not that that's a bad place, I guarantee, but I wanted to wake up in Africa. So I resigned from my job. And this is what I want to tell you now. The pivotal point in my life, if I didn't do what I'm about to tell you right now, I would not be sitting here with these people, with you wonderful people, because I made the wrong decision. That decision was, I got a call on my radio. It was by the Public Relations Department at the zoo. And this is about being positive and staying optimistic all through your life as much as you possibly can. If you stay positive and do forward or positive things for people, it will pay off. I got this call on the radio and one of the public relations officers said, Hayden, we've got these VIPs down here at PR. We'd love to bring them up and show the giraffes to them as a little bit of a, a special thing for them. Now, I could have said no because the policy was they had to give 24 hours notice. But I quite fancied this girl anyway and I quite thought she was quite a pretty girl and I'd do anything for her. But the reason being was that it was going to show somebody my animals. It was going to have the opportunity to change someone. So I said, no problem, Polly, bring them up. And if I didn't take that radio call, I would not be here now because they were a group of National Geographic executives. And I told them that I'd resigned from the zoo. I was going to Zimbabwe to live and work on an elephant rehabilitation program there. And the director, if anyone ever does this to you and pulls a card out of their pocket and it's got the symbol on it that what you've always wanted to see all your life and hands it over to you, I've just got the Globe Media Group card out of my pocket, by the way, so if that happens, well done as well. But mine just happened to have a National Geographic symbol on it. And I held onto that card and that man said to me, give me a call on Monday. I've got an idea. That was 13 years ago. I've worked in 53 countries around the world because of that call on that radio. I've followed my dream. I have been to those places, worked with wonderful people, learnt so much, hopefully inspired some people, made some television programs that are okay. But most importantly, I followed my dream and I hopefully can make a few changes to people's lives or inspire them to follow their dream. So the four of us are up here right now to pass on the baton. This is the relay. We're passing on the baton to you as the next custodians of this planet, in whatever way and shape or form you do. Journalism, photography, a CEO of a company, someone in Parliament, a person that is like passionate with more followers than I've ever seen on any website or tweets. Have you seen how many followers she's got? Wow, 54,000 people follow Nadia every day. I've got 40. Anyway, let's not go there.
Hayden, I have to say that in Indonesia, 50,000 is not really much. But I must say, I'm new to Twitter.
I've got to pick her brain about how to tweet properly. But seriously, if I didn't make that decision and be positive and optimistic at that point and reach out, go outside the square, I wouldn't be here now. So that's my life in 15 minutes, in 5 minutes, sorry. We're going to open up the floor now, and we're going to do this in a way that it'll take a little bit of time to warm up. It's going, you've got questions, and I don't want you to be nervous. This is your opportunity to go outside the square. This is your opportunity to ask your question and make the difference to what you want to know from these wonderful people here. Anyone have a question to start?
Actually, we do have a lot of questions, don't we? We also have just been informed we are being streamed live on the UNDP website.
My goodness.
So people all around the world who are watching us today
Wow.
may send us questions by Twitter. I also have a Twitter ID, by the way, but it says Don't follow me, I don't know where I'm going. So, I've primed the first question for you. We have a lovely young lady over here who's going to ask you the first question.
I think the best way to do it, Sue, would also be if the person can direct their question at one of the panel, that would be great.
This one is actually for 3 of the panel.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Galu Keith. I want to know how you felt when you arrived in Jakarta and smelt the pollution. I want to know how it made you feel. Thank you.
Who would like to open there?
I can honestly say I didn't smell a thing, but maybe I don't have a good sense of smell. But obviously Jakarta has its traffic congestion issues. The first thing I did when I came here was have 3 hours sleep and then go up to central Kalimantan to look at the issues around the forests because Indonesia has made some big commitments around cutting its greenhouse gas emissions by 26% by 2020, and the most obvious way to do that is to slow down and hopefully stop the destruction of its tropical forests and the degradation of its tropical forests. So I went to see the incredible forest that you have in Kalimantan. I even saw a orangutan, which is a very, very special experience. And I can see that these issues are going to be very challenging to address, but also that Indonesia has leadership, which I believe is committed to addressing them.
Well, in my case, coming to Jakarta is for me always like coming back home because this is where I was born. But when you get stuck in the traffic and it takes you 2 hours from the airport to your hotel, you start to wonder of how much work needs to be done in the infrastructure. But I think there is good hope. I remember 10 years ago when I would go to Bangkok. Bangkok traffic was just like Jakarta traffic today, absolute gridlock. Yeah. Today, because they have put in a lot of roads, tunnels, bridges, elevated highways, light rail transit systems, and today the traffic is significantly improved and again the traffic flows. So I think this is part of the stage of the development of your country. But as Mrs. Clark says, I too have full confidence in your government, in their leadership this afternoon. When your president spoke to the audience here, I had a very strong feeling of this country is really going to move forward. But we need to be patient.
Buat saya juga kayaknya bukan kaget ya, soalnya hampir setiap 2 minggu saya di sini. But honestly, when I come back, sometimes ya aku lihat from inside the car, I'm like, Jakarta tuh gimana nih, yeah. But you know, of course, what Fritz said is all about infrastructure and logistics and planning. So if these are the things that do interest you, you know, perhaps you can look at a career in architecture or city planning, which is so interesting because city planning is what affects the lives and how people live. You know, wider footpaths for walking, better public transport systems, better roads, more highways. And if this is something that interests you, that's perhaps a career that you can look into.
There's a gentleman over here with his hands streaming into this.
I think.
Okay. Sorry.